Okay. Thank Hashem. We're able to learn Torah every day. It's just about learning. We should have the base of Mikdash. Okay. Get to start a new Masechta.
And then after this, we'll finish Nash.
Finish Nashing now. Then you have 2 years of Mazikin. Okay. So Masechta Kiddushin starts. Isha niknas b'shalish drachim. A woman is acquired in 3 ways. And we're talking about here about the Kiddushin, the first part of the marriage. And as opposed to the Nesuin, which is when he brings her into the house. Right? There's 2 parts to the marriage. There's Erisin, which we call Kiddushin, or here it's called Kiddushin. And Nesuin is the second part. So from the Erisin, it's betrothal. It's not an engagement, it's betrothal. From the betrothal, she's already, if she lives with another man, she commits as committing adultery. So it's really a marriage. It's not just engaged. Anyway, it says that there's 3 ways that this takes place. This betrothal. The kindness atzim stage rachim. She acquires herself. That means she gets released from the marriage or from the betrothal in 2 ways. Okay, how is she acquired? What are the 3 ways? So niknas bekesef b'shtar b'bia. She's acquired with money, with a document, or with marital relations, which means that even though she didn't do the Nesuin yet, she's not brought into his house, but she can really be acquired in the betrothal state already with marital relations. And with this we don't accept today because Rav, sage, the Amira Rav, gave lashes to people that made a betrothal with relations. He said that was not appropriate. They weren't married yet. They shouldn't be doing that for the betrothal.
But money's okay?
Money's okay. What do you have there?
How would I acquire a wife?
What is that?
Valuable stone.
Oh, what type of stone is that?
Yeah,
that's a valuable stone here.
That's the component. You got it.
Where did you get this? This is so
we went to buy
cobalt,
an anniversary present for my wife to the jeweler, Shimon, who has a jewelry store. He's from and he said, "Here's a gift after we purchased." So I think it's worth a pruta, but I don't know because he didn't say.
Well, you can get more than a pruta from that.
More than one wife, then?
More than one wife. I don't know. Okay, so kesef star and bia. Now, kesef is, he gives her money and he says, Harayat mikudeshesli. Behold, you're like consecrated to me. With the document doesn't need to have any value. The document, Rashi spells it out. The document, he writes on the document, he says, you're consecrated unto me. What about relations? How does he do that? So he tells the woman in front of witnesses, he says, you will be consecrated unto me with this relation. And then he goes into a secluded room with her and they have relations. And then witnesses would know that they're going into this room to have relations. Because that was his announcement, his declaration before they went in there. Now, the kesef, we go back to the first one, we discuss how much kesef. B'shamay Yomrim b'dinar b'shav dinar. B'shamay say that it needs to be a dinar. Or the value of a dinar.
Take her to
The diner. Yeah. Basil Basil say it could be a pruta or the value of a pruta. So there's a discussion here in the later commentaries when it says kesef, if it's referring to silver or if it's referring to money. If it's referring to silver, then other coins are going to be considered Shava Pruta. Would be right. We use a silver. What do we
It
use?
says
We
it's
use a
small
silver. We use a silver ring, right?
It says it's
Oh, we use a
Italian.
gold ring. It's a gold ring. Yeah.
Oh, for
So I guess that's Shava Kesef. So that's either way. It's well. That's Shava Kesef. It has the value. It has the value of silver.
Cigar ring. Around the cigar, there's usually.
Right.
Does that work?
Only
That's
the
an
rare,
old-
we discussed this
Yeah.
once, only the rare ones that are worth.
Yeah, they're worth a lot.
We discussed
Yeah.
that.
Okay. So the Gemara now says, "V'kami pruta." How much is the pruta? Pruta is the smaller coin. Basil is more lenient in getting a woman married, and he says that it could be less money. Maybe Hillel was poorer, more poor. Is that a word? Poorer. So how much is a pruta? Echad mishmayna b'isser italki. It's 1/8 of an isser italki, of a Italian isser. And what is that? I think that's like a barley or something, or a certain amount of. Basically, it comes out to a certain amount of sizes, little sizes of silver.
This is the Kiddushin, this part two, not the.
This
other
is-
side.
This is the part one. Erisin and Kiddushin is synonymous.
So what happens nowadays under the footprint is the Davis.
Is the Erisin,
So this is the Kiddushin.
Kiddushin.
So when someone gives a woman an engagement ring,
It's nothing. Engagement ring,
even though it has gold and.
Right.
Right.
right? In the very frum circles, they save the engagement ring for the actual wedding. He doesn't give her the ring then. He gives her the ring like in the yichud room or something. He hands her the engagement ring.
What if he never gave his wife?
They're married.
Retroactively. 50 years.
It's never too late.
No way, she don't. We know what to
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Yes.
Now it says it goes to the other. It goes to the other side of this. How does she get released from the marriage? B'keinas atzma, she acquires herself in two ways. We said in the Mishnah. What are the two ways? Beget b'misus abal, with a document, a divorce document that we learned the whole Masechtas Gittin, and with 3 months on that. B'misus abal, and with the death of the husband, that's another way that she gets released. Hayavama niknas b'biya b'keinas atzma b'chalitza misus hayavam. The Yavama, the woman that's waiting for the levirate marriage, she's acquired with relations. That's it. There are other things that can happen. It could be mimer, but that's rabbinic. This is the biblical law was that she gets acquired with the relations, intimacy. And v'keinas atzma, how does she acquire herself? Either chalitza, either with removing his shoe and spitting on the floor, and Mrs. Yavam with the brother-in-law, the deceased brother passing away.
The deceased brother, the brother of the deceased.
Brother of the
He
deceased.
has to become deceased.
Both deceased now.
I didn't know.
Just remind me, if there's another brother, one dies, is she still?
No, she has to do even with the other one. Talking about that there's no brother left.
No brothers.
So that's what Mrs. Berkowitz had to do.
The
The
chalitza.
Chalitza had to go find the.
Right.
How did she get a get when her husband passes?
Now those are two options: either a get or the husband passes away. Right. Those are two ways that she gets released.
Oh,
So she gives him a choice. She says to him, either we're going to get or
I'll be away.
I forget the story, but there was someone that didn't want to give his wife a get, and they went to this Rebbe or whatever, and he told them, "Look, there's two ways that your wife could be released: either the get or with the death of the husband." And I think he got the message, and he gave the get. Okay. The Gemara analyzes the language of the Mishnah. I think there's some Rishonim that don't have the whole first column here, whole first Gemara. Let's take a look. Let's go through this. It says Ha'isha Niknas, a woman is acquired. It's like a passive. Woman is acquired. Now, Maishnahach Detani Ha'isha Niknas. What's the difference that over here we use the expression that a woman is acquired? Maishnahasam Detani Ha'ish Mekadesh. And in the second chapter, we say on page 42, we say, page 41, we say Ha'ish Mekadesh, that a man consecrates by himself or with a messenger. So we start off questioning why we use it, why are we using the word acquire as opposed to consecrate? Why don't we say that she's acquired? Gemara answers Mishum the Kabbalah Lemisni Kesef, because we wanted to mention money. So what? It says let's go through this. The Kesef Minalan, and how do we know that money works? Gamar Kicha Kicha Mistei Efron. We learn a verbal analogy. It says the word Kicha when Avram acquired the field to bury his wife. And it also says kicha or kach, kicha, when it comes to marrying a woman. So it says ksiv hacha. Over here it says by a marriage, kikach ish isha, when a man acquires a wife. Ksiv hasam, and it says by Abraham, when asati kasav asad, I've given the money for the field, kach mimeni, take it from me. But kicha krikinyan, and the term kicha means taking, means acquisition. The ksiv, how do we know that was acquisition? It says Hasad Ashakana Avram, the field that Avram acquired.
Does it bring down the acquisition of Yitzchak and Rachel?
Rivka? I don't think it says that.
Took her into.
Just says he brought her into the home.
And,
yeah. Right. Maybe in another place. Over here, we're just looking for the acquisition part of the marriage, which we found it in a verbal analogy. That's what we're saying. But because we have this verbal analogy of kicha, that a woman could be acquired through kesef, so we want to call this process, we want to call it acquisition. Inami, another source that the field was acquired. It says Inami sadis bakesef yeknu. Field that was acquired with money. Fields are acquired with money. So therefore, it says Tani ha'isha niknes. It says that a woman is acquired. It's coming to teach us that the allowance that we're allowed to use money in this acquisition. The Gemara says, okay, so if you wanted to say the term acquisition because you wanted to discuss money, so then nisni hasam ha'ish kaina. Why over there don't you say that the man acquires? Why do you say the man consecrates? If the term that you really want to use is acquisition, so we're just asking to be consistent. So the Gemara answers Mikara Tani Lishn Deiraisa. At first, they wanted to use the biblical term, which was kicha, and kicha is called kinyan. So we say isha nichnas, that a woman is acquired. But then Tani Lishn Rabbanan wants to use the rabbinic expression, which is Kiddushin. The rabbinic expression for this would be called Kiddushin. So we start with the biblical expression and then we finish with the rabbinic expression. My Lishna de Rabbanan, what is the explanation for the rabbinic expression of Kiddushin? Kiddushin is like consecration. It says the Asala Kuli Alma Kakdash, that the woman becomes prohibited to everyone just as if it would be consecrated.
Kiddushin is the second part.
Kiddushin is the first part. She's already forbidden to everyone, even from the first part.
They're Rusin. I'm just trying to get the terms straight.
Yeah, so the Erusin and Kiddushin are synonyms. and then Nesuin.
Why is that? Why do they have the same different words that mean the same thing? There's one rabbinic and one Doraisa.
Not sure.
What do we use today? We say.
Here we say Hariyat Mekudeshas. We call the people Arusa, but the term that they used in the process is Hariyat Mekudeshas, Kiddushin. Okay, so the explanation is, why is it called Kiddushin? Because he makes her forbidden unto everyone. He makes her forbidden unto everyone, as if it's hektish, like hektish. Okay, now we switch from asking about kaina versus kedushin. We switch from saying the active from the passive to the active. Why do we say that the woman is acquired? Why don't we say that the man acquires? Should say that the man acquires in 3 ways. The man acquires a woman in 3 ways. I could have said that. Why does it say the woman is acquired in 3 ways? It says Mishum the Kabbalah Misnei Seifa v'Kainas Atzma, because it wants to conclude with saying that she acquires herself. B'dida, she acquires herself. It says at the end of this, it says that a woman is acquired to the man in 3 ways, and she acquires herself in 2 ways. So because it wants to say, it can't say that the man acquires her in 2 ways. The man acquires her in 3 ways. It would say you have to say the man gives her up in 2 ways. But it's so instead of saying the man gives up, it says that she acquires her. She's acquired in 3 ways, and she acquires herself in 2 ways. Okay. So it also talks about, in the beginning, it talks about her.
When she acquires herself, it means it terminates
The marriage, right? Very good. But you don't really have to do this. You can say that the man acquires and transfers. The man acquires her in 3 ways and transfers her in 2 ways. It says, well, it doesn't fit perfectly. What about one of the ways is a divorce, which, yes, that could be considered a transfer. He transfers her ownership back to herself. But one of the ways is the death of the husband. He's not the one that's doing the transfer. It's heaven that's doing the transfer for her.
Okay. That's not purchase. Somebody's died, how's that purchase?
Yeah. She acquires herself, right? She gets the full ownership of herself. Yeah, it's this when it says the word acquisition, it's like a borrowed term. It doesn't mean that the man owns his wife like property. I mean, there's certain obligations, but it's not an ownership. Like he owns her, like if someone owns a slave. The change of her status from being a single woman to it's a kinyan, it's an acquisition, but the acquisition is not acquiring, it's changing her status. So another explanation for why we say that the man acquires, why do we say that the woman acquires, a woman is acquired and acquires herself? Why don't we say the man acquires her? Itane kaina, if we would say that the man acquires, I would have thought that the man can acquire her even against her will. So Tani Yishiniknes, so it has to say that the woman is acquired, that means that she has to be part of this. It means that she has to have consent in order for this acquisition to take place. He can't acquire a wife against her will. My area, the Tani Shalish Lishni Shleisha. Okay. Now in Hebrew numbers, it's it switches from what you would imagine. Usually a feminine verb, it ends in a kamatz hey. No, shamra, achla, that's usually feminine. And masculine is shamar, achal. So if it ends in a kamatz hey, we assume that it's feminine. when it comes to numbers, starting from 3 to 10, it's exactly the opposite. It's Shleisha is masculine, Arba'a is masculine, Chamisha, how do you say feminine? Shalosh. How do you say 4? Arba. How do you say 5? Chamesh, not Chamisha. Exactly that. It switches exactly the opposite of what you would have thought, just to make Hebrew difficult.
Is that right? Just to make it difficult?
No, there's some Kabbalistic reason. But
You want to say it what it is?
you have to be over 40.
Okay. No one qualifies here in this room.
Yeah.
We've gone through half the shots. And this is the first time all of a sudden, it sounds like the beginning of the Rambam, like this is the rules, male, female, object, subject, predicate, this. We never went through this in any other mission.
Yeah.
The first time all of a sudden with dissecting, we've spent through each mission, which is the
Yeah.
What's
So I that's why I think that there's some room for those Rishonim that say this is not really part of the Gemara.
Oh, is that right?
No, not that the Masechtas Kiddushin, but from here until Minyana Dereisha Lamuti Mai, until the Gemara on the next page tomorrow, it's going to say, why does it say a number? We know how to count. Why do you have to tell me the number? Oh, it's coming to exclude a certain halacha, the thing. So that's a more classic Gemara. This style is not so classic. Yeah. I forget which ones. The Spanish ones had it, the French ones didn't. Obviously, Rashi and Tosfos had this. So the French did have it. Okay. I think like the Ramban and the Raj, but I don't think they had this first page. Well, why does it say shalish? Listen to shleisha. It should say shleisha, which is masculine. In 3 ways. A woman is acquired in 3 ways. Now we think that the word ways, drachim, right, is masculine. So what it should say, shleisha drachim or shalish drachais, right? But that's not the word. So it should be shleisha drachim, not shalish drachim. It should be shleisha drachim, which would fit in the masculine. It would be consistent.
Derek could be either male.
Okay, so that's what the Gemara is going to tell us. So hold it. So it says Maya Ditani Shalishli Shleisha, which that would match with Drachim better. Yeah. So it says Mishum de Kabayla Misne Derech, because it wants to use the word Derech.
Yeah.
And the Derech Lashon Nekevahu. The word Derech, way, 3 ways. The Derech is feminine. And you make known to them the way that they will walk on. And walk in it. In it means in her. Yalchuba doesn't say Yalchubai. It says Yalchuba, that they'll walk in her. You make known the way that they'll walk in her. What is the pronoun? The her is referring to the way, to derech. So derech is really feminine. So that's why it says, we have our answer. It says, shalosh drachim. Drachim doesn't sound like it's feminine, but it turns out that it really is. Okay. But we have a brisa that says, it's really a Mishnah, the Tanan, says, B'shiva drachim baitim es azav, misni sheva. It says in 7 ways you examine a zav. A zav is someone that has an emission that's not caused by any of the normal things that a emission would be caused by. So it's considered an illness. So there's 7 ways that you examine if he's going to have this level of impurity. So what are those 7? In other words, if he ate or he overate or he drank too much or he had some other illness or he was doing exercise or he saw mating or something like that, so then that would not be considered a zav. That would be considered a regular carry, a regular emission. What would be the irregular emission would be if none of those things took place. So there's 7 ways that you examine the Zav. But it says Shiva Drachim. It says in the masculine Shiva, it doesn't say Sheva. If derech is feminine, so it should say Sheva, right? Like we just said that derech is feminine. It says Mishum dekabay lemisnei derech, vashkan derech dekli lashon zacher, deksiv b'derech echad yetzu elecha b'shiva drachim yinus lefanech. Because we find that the word derech could also be masculine. Okay. So derech can go either way. So by the Zav, we say that it's masculine, and by the woman, we say that by the marriage, we say that it's feminine.
Androgynous.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe it can go either way. Yeah, and actually, they use that in grammar, androgynous. I think, right?
In Hebrew grammar or American grammar?
In English, the way the way they describe the Hebrew words.
I say androgynous.
Yeah. Right. If that's the case, we have contradictions in the psukim, because one pasuk uses the word derech and it uses it in a masculine. It says b'derech echad. Should say b'derech achas, right? Numbers 1 and 2 are consistent with what you would imagine. Achas and shtayim are feminine, and echad and shnayim are masculine, which would be consistent. The tough would be the feminine, which that makes sense. That's it's easier to remember. So there's a contradiction in the verses. One says b'derech echad, the other one says yelchu ba, which means masculine and feminine. And there's another problem. And we also have contradictions in the Mishnayos, because one says b'shiv'a derachim, the other one says b'shalish derachim. It doesn't say b'shleisha, right? So the Mishnayos contradict and the Mishnah contradicts, and the Mishnayos and the Psukim. Okay. The Gemara answers, Kroya dadi like kasha. The Psukim are not a contradiction. Hacha de b'Torah kai. When it's talking about the Torah, when it says Vaydat lamasaderach yalchuba, you make known to them the way that they should go. The way, what's the way? The way of the Torah. So it's referring to Torah ikri lashon nekeva. So that's a feminine. How do you know that the Torah is feminine? Ksiv Torah Hashem tamima meshivas nefesh says that the Torah of Hashem is perfect. And the word perfect, tamima, is a feminine word. So in other words, the adjectives match the nouns in the gender. So if the adjective is feminine, then it means the noun is feminine. So Torah Hashem tamima, the Torah of Hashem is perfect. The perfect is a feminine adjective. So therefore it matches the noun of Torah, which is also feminine. Which means that when it says you make known to them the way of the Torah on which you go, over there, that way was referring to Torah, that way would be considered feminine. In which you go on it means really on her, it's feminine. So but over there, when it says that you'll run away and you'll go out, they will go out in one way and I'll run away from you in 7 ways. That's referring to battle. Over there, who does battle? Men do battle, not women. So kasav la balashon zacher. That's why I wrote it in a masculine. Okay, so we've resolved the verses why it's feminine and masculine. What about the Mishnayos? There's no contradiction about the Mishnah either. Over here, we're referring to the woman. So so that's why it says it in a feminine. The woman gets married. We say it in 3 ways, and we say that those, and we use the word 3 The three is b'shalosh, which is feminine.
The shalosh is masculine.
No, it's counterintuitive. Shalosh is feminine, and shloisha is masculine. Yeah. But over there, we're talking about the man. That we're talking about the zav, the man that has the mission. How do you examine the different ways of the darker lishli badik, the darker lishli badik? Yeah, only a man needs to examine, to do this examination to see if he's really a zav versus a keri. It's only the man that needs to do that. Why? Because if a woman sees blood, we don't have to check why she saw the blood. You only have to look at the time of the month that she saw the blood. If it's not on the cycle, if it's during the 11 days between the cycle, so then we say that she's tummy, regardless of if she saw because of any cause. If she saw, it doesn't matter what the cause of it was. She's still considered a zav if it's off cycle. The cycle is 7/11.
For recounting. In
No.
other words, she
sees
it's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't.
1 second. If she sees it, if she sees blood for the first 7 days, she's a nida. Anytime after that, during the next 11 days, she's a zava, right? So, like you said, that store, the 7-Eleven, that store, it's like sounds like it's all the impurities of a woman. So it doesn't matter why she saw, if she was witnessing mating, or if she was doing exercise, or if she overate, or whatever the case is. She's in nida or a zava. It is what it is. It depends on the time of the month. So therefore,
is just a discharge.
Yeah.
A normal. No, that's a carry.
no, a
Zava is an
zav and a keri are both discharges.
Right.
The zav would be because of a natural cause for it, and a keri is a natural cause, and a zav would be that there is no cause, and so it's considered a more serious tuma. It's like an illness,
Do we still
gonorrhea
have
or
that
something.
today? Is that still,
Maybe if it's gonorrhea or something, but
oh, okay. Does that have to do with the cycle somehow,
no,
or-
nothing.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it's only in a man that you would have this. We have to do this examination. A woman has it as well, but a woman has it in the site. There is no examination. It's just if she sees blood, then she becomes a zava automatically, because it's off the cycle. So a woman becomes tamei, what's called ba'inus, even if it's how do you translate ba'inus?
Under control.
It's beyond their control, but it's not what we're talking about. We mean, what is it? What is it? Even if it has causes, right? Okay. So therefore, when it comes to examinations of the zav, it says it in 7 ways to examine a zav. It's referring to a masculine. Okay, my time at Tani Shalish. Why did we say Shalish? Mishum drachim, because we wanted to use the word derech. And so in derech we said was going to be nekeva, because we're referring to the woman. So nisni dvarim. Why don't we just say things? There are 3 things that a woman is acquired with, not drachim. We could use dvarim, and then we could say nisni shleisha. Then we could say shleisha, because dvarim is clearly masculine. It says mishum dekabayla misni biya. We don't want to do that, because we wanted to say one of them is relations, and ubiya ikri derech, and we wanted to, and biya is called the derech, a way. Where do you see that marital relations is called a way? It says v'derech gever ba'alma king derech isha menefes. The way of a man with a young girl, alma is a young girl. So is the way of a woman, of an adulterous woman. So we're talking about here the relations, and it's the Torah uses the word way,
Right.
derech, when it's referring to relations.
Yeah, because they're on the wrong path or the right path.
Right.
Instead of a dever, it's a
So the-
derech.
right.
I don't understand the quote. And the way of with the young, with
Yeah, I'm not sure. What does it say over there?
it says for this reason the Mishnah used the term ways.
Yeah, I'd have to look up the pasuk. You want to bring a mishlei over there? It's one of the
I'll give it to you.
see Proverbs there.
Derech haneshe b'shamayim, derech nachash. It's talking about the natures of things. Alai, tzavor derech anya b'lev yam, derech kavra ba'alma. So it's preceded by all these different animals and their natural ways of
The
living.
nature of an animal.
The nature of an animal. So the nature of a man is he goes after a young woman.
Nature. Way.
And derech ish in efes.
That's the way.
Oh,
of an
No.
individual.
Yeah, it finishes off over here, right?
It's not a good way.
So
The adulterous woman eats and wipes her mouth and says, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
That's the next puzzle.
right. The first three examples introduce the fourth. Just as the eagle, snake, and ship move without leaving a trace behind them, when a man has illicit relations with a young woman who is not a virgin, the sinners leave no evidence of their behavior.
What does this say about the
Okay, there's a comment over here. Homiletically, the verse speaks to man, urging him to consider his role on earth. An eagle, snake, and ship flit by swiftly, leaving no trace behind them. So to man's life, he is born and without a passage of time disappears without a trace. How can people remain oblivious to their mortality as if they will live forever? Similarly, how does the eagle fly without knowing where it will land? Okay, whatever.
The flag of Mexico and the sign is an eagle eating a snake.
Yeah.
It's 2 in 1.
Uh-huh. So, okay, so we got the word derech when it comes to relations. Hatenach bia. Okay, you explained that you're going to use the word derech because of bia, but kesef ishtar ma'iklamemar. But there's another two ways that a woman is acquired, and the other two is money and a document. What does that have to do with derech? It says mishum bia. It says you're right, but so what? One of the ways is called the derech. So we chose the word derech, which means a way, to describe all three. It says B'tani tarti atuchada. Is that how it works? That you take, because one of them is called a derech, so now you call all three of them derech when two of them are not called derech. So you should have followed the majority over there. It says hanach nami tzerich biyanino. That's not a question, because all of these steps in the marriage is all to bring to the relations. So that would be the main one, would be the relations. Another interpretation that we can give over here is Hamani. Who is this that's saying that we're supposed to be using the word, that we're using the word derech? This is Reb Shimoni. This is the opinion of Reb Shimon. The Tani was taught in a brisa. Reb Shimon Aimer. Why does it say? Why does the Torah say when a man takes a woman, like and it doesn't say when a woman is taken to the man? What's the reason for that? Because it's the way of the man to search for a wife. It's not the way of a wife to search for the man. The wife doesn't propose.
She searched for.
She searched for, right? Mashal Adam Shah Avdalay Aveda. Just like a person that lost his wallet, he lost something. Mi chayzer al mi. Who goes to look for who? The person that lost it goes to look for what he lost. The wallet doesn't go look for the person.
Oh, yeah, smartphone, you know,
Right.
your computer, it keeps up.
So V'hadatanan, and this said it was taught in the Mishnah, B'zayin Drachim Beikim Esazav, listening Dvarim. Why over there don't we just say Dvarim, 7 ways? Why do we say 7 ways? We just say 7 things that a Zav is examined with. Say Hakamash Malan, Hasam Hakamash Malan is coming to teach us the Darka, the Michla, Yisera Lasuyi Lideziva. That's the natural consequence. The natural way of overeating would bring to this types of emission, or not the actual ziva itself, but it would bring to an emission which could be mistaken for ziva, and therefore you have to do the examination. V'darka the Mishnah Yisrael Asil de ziva, because that would be the natural consequence of over drinking could also bring to this emission. Okay, let's leave the Gemara here.
Wow, thank you.
Remember, Thursday night, we'll have a see him at the Kailal downstairs in the main show. See him on Gittin. Anyone want to make the siyam?